Hello, everyone. Just got done watching NXT Stand and Deliver 2023. I think it topped last year's Stand and Deliver, that's for certain. Unfortunately, I missed what turned out to be the pre-show match. It was an 8-person match which saw the Schism, Joe Gacy, Ava, Jagger Reed, and Rip Fowler as they took on Tyler Bate and Chase University, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale, which is collectively Chase. The three of them is Chase University, and control of Chase University was on the line in the match. Unfortunately, I ended up missing this match, and Tyler Bate and Chase University were victorious over the Schism to continue to have control over Chase University. Now, I feel bad for all 8 of them for being stuck doing a pre-show match. Ava, for those who don't know, is Simone Johnson, the first ever 4th generation wrestler, the daughter of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And unless I'm mistaken, this might have been her first in-ring match. And I also feel sorry for Schism because, they're a heel faction. Not sure what their characters are all about. But, it's like they just keep getting nowhere. So I don't know. Maybe it's time for that group to be disbanded or something. I mean, everything they try to do, it's like it just goes to poop. I'm sorry to say it. Of course, I did catch the main show, which kicked off with a six-way ladder match for the NXT Women'S Champion as the recently returned Roxanne Perez defended the championship against Gigi Dolan, Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell, and Lyra, or is it Lyra? Valkyria. Well, I don't know if it's me or ladder matches in NXT, or there's ladder match overkill in NXT, because almost every big show in recent years there's always been a ladder match. But then again, of course, based on who currently has the pencil in NXT, I guess that proves why they keep having ladder matches. But among the highlights, and there's so many dying spots, I couldn't even remember all of them to write them down. But at one point, Gigi Dolan, she channeled her inner Terry Funk as she airplane spinned a ladder and bumped into everybody that got in the way. Stratton got a hold of Gigi and Regal rolled her onto a ladder. Hartwell used a spine buster. She used the spine buster on Stratton on a ladder. Perez, I forgot who she hit, the Pop Rock or Pop Rocks, which of course is the code red. Yeah, it was on Zoe she did it too. Perez gave the Pop Rocks code red on Zoe Stark. At one point, Dolan and Valkyria were on the ladder. Valkyria was dangling upside down. Dolan knocks her off the ladder, and it looks like Dolan's about to grab the belt, but along comes her returning former partner, JC Jane, climbs the ladder and knocks Dolan off the ladder onto another ladder that was bridged between the ladder and the turnbuckle in the corner. And JC Jane, I guess, I don't know if she's 100% because she got hurt in a match with Gigi Dolan in the past month. Obviously, their deal's not over yet. Hartwell pushed the ladder, causing Stratton to fall out of the ring and landed on Perez, Valkyria, and Stark. Hartwell tried climbing the ladder. She was struggling, but then out came, I guess, from under the ring, Dexter Loomis. And he's down, Dexter's down on the mat looking up at her. And it'll probably end up a dang meme on social media eventually. And Hartwell got on top of Loomis's shoulders and helped her climb him up, and she grabbed the belt. And Indy Hartwell is the new NXT Women's Champion. Great effort by all 6 of these ladies. I wonder if JC Jane didn't get injured in her match with Gigi Dolan, if she would have been a part of this match. Next up was a triple threat match for the Tag Team Championship, as we saw Brutus and Julius, the Creed brothers, accompanied the ring by Ivy Nile, versus the Family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo, as both teams challenged Mark Coffey. Wait, Coffey or Kofi? Well, I know it's not coffee like we drink because he spelled the name Coffey. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, known as Gallus. There was quick action to start the matchup. D'Angelo suplexed one of the Creed brothers. It looked like Creed did like a corkscrew in the air on the way down to the mat. Julius Creed hit like belly-to-belly suplexes galore. Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey's brother, arrives. He pulls, I think it's not D'Angelo, to Lorenzo out of the ring. And Gallus hit a double team move on Lorenzo to retain the tag team championship. Next up was a 5-way match for the North American Championship as Dragon Lee, Axiom, Ilya Dragunov, and JT McDonough challenged Wes Lee. All apologies, folks. I fell asleep during this matchup, but I did end up catching how it ended when Dragon did a jumping knee strike on Dragunov, and Dragunov hit the rope and retaliated with a lariato. Wes eventually retained when he hit a cardiac kick on Dragunov, who was going to do something to, I forgot it was Dragon Lee or somebody else. And Wes Lee is still the North American champion. Up next was the unsanctioned match between Grayson Waller and Mr. Wrestling Johnny Gargano. Gargano attacked right away. He did the spear from the apron. Waller used a trash can lid as Gargano went for a dive to the floor. Gargano buckle bombs. Waller goes for a buckle bomb on a trash can set up in the corner. Gargano suplexed Waller out of the ring onto a bed of chairs. Sick bump. Eventually Gargano hits a destroyer on Waller on the floor. Waller hit a Stone Cold Stunner on the floor, and then powerbombs Gargano through a table on the floor. Eventually, Waller back in the ring. Waller hits the late Dino Bravo finisher on a chair. Starts bringing a kendo stick into play. The whole time, Gargano's wife, Candice LeRae, and their son, Quill, who's only like a year old, and Waller's taunting her. Eventually, Candice goes over the rail. She starts batting 1,000 with the cane until Waller catches the cane, and it broke along the way. Gargano uses another cane on Waller. Waller actually... back into the ring they go. Gargano leaps from the apron and catches Waller with a DDT. Waller eventually hits the coast to coast, which we all know is the Van Terminator, with Gargano had like a trash can in his face. Then hits a Stone Cold Stunner in the ring. Gargano kicked out of that. Eventually Gargano returned the favor, powerbombing Waller through the announcer's table. Gargano hit Waller in the balls. Used multiple chair shots. He did a standing concerto where Gargano took a chair, opened the chair up, wrapped it around Waller's head, and took another chair, whacked him with it. Then he puts on the Gargano escape, and Waller taps out, enabling Johnny Gargano redemption after what happened back in late 2021, I understand. So I don't know if Gargano's hanging around NXT or he's going to go back to, I think Monday Night Raw. Next up was the Women's Tag Team Championship match, as we saw Kiana James and Fallon Henley accompanied who were accompanied ring by Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, as they defended the Women's Tag Team against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Of course, there's been teasing a lot of dissension within Jensen, Brooks, James, and Henley for the last 2 months since they won the tag belts at Vengeance Day. Fire did a top rope dive onto the floor before the bell even rang. Kiana hit a Spinebuster on Fire. Henley hit a blockbuster on Dawn. Henley was hit with a double team move, but she kicked out of that. Henley and James hit a Doomsday dropkick on Fire. Fire hit a gourd buster on James. Dawn hits eventually Kiana looks to, I forgot, was that Briggs or Jensen for a bag, and both Henley and I forgot those guys' names. All apologies. They didn't have a match, so how happy could they be? All right, and he didn't give Kiana the bag, and eventually she gets takes a lung blower from Dawn, followed by a senton bomb by Fire from the top rope. Fire and Dawn won the Women's Tag Team Championship. So obviously the dissension among Brooks, Jensen, James, and Henley is going to continue. As I mentioned about Brooks and Jensen about not being in a match, the show was hosted by Pretty Deadly. I mean, how happy can these guys be? They went from being NXT Tag Team Champions to hosting a show. I mean, that's got to be a step down. But up next, it was time for the main event as Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams challenged Braun Breaker for the Heavyweight Championship. Early in the match, Hayes had a very nice drop kick. Breaker hit a Frankensteiner, a suplex, and a standing moonsault. Hayes had a second rope clothesline. Twisting clothesline from the second rope. Breaker had put Hayes in a torture rack, and Trick Williams comes up to the apron. He grabs Hayes to pull him out of the move, but the referee sees it, and he ejects Williams from the ring. Breaker did a dive onto both Williams and Hayes on the floor. Breaker hit a top rope Frankensteiner. Breaker hit a spear on Hayes, but they bumped into the referee, taking him down. Breaker puts the Steiner recliner on Hayes, and he's tapping out, but Williams returns and hits Breaker with the championship belt, puts Hayes on top, but Breaker kicks out. Breaker tries to go for that press power slam combination, which Goldberg was known for, but Hayes countered with a forward lung blower or a code breaker, and then Hayes hit a leg drop from the topper, which they called nothing but net. Hayes pins Breaker to win the NXT Championship, and after the match is over, Breaker gets the belt from the referee, and he hands the belt over to Hayes, presents it to him, raises his hand. I have to say, this was a great show, better than last year's Stand and Deliver. But with this situation, based on the crowd reaction, with Carmelo Hayes now on top, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they turn Carmelo Hayes and maybe he feuds with Trick Williams. Because I don't know how happy Trick Williams can be. I mean, he didn't get in the business to stand in the corner. I mean, Carmelo was involved in the North American title picture for such a long time, and now he's finally been brought up to the main event, and now he's on top of the NXT mountain. And I'm hearing talk Braun Breaker may get called up to the main roster of either Raw or SmackDown, which wouldn't surprise me because Breaker was really left for him to do in NXT. For this Tuesday, I understand they announced 2 matches. Pretty Deadly will be taking on the family, Tony D'Angelo and Channing Lorenzo, Stax Lorenzo, and Dijak takes on Odyssey. Is it Odyssey Jones? I apologize if I got his name wrong. I don't know, folks. I think NXT, they got so many wrestlers there, and I know it's hard to put everybody on one show each week because they were on Tuesday nights on USA Network. But I don't know. I think NXT should expand it to their weekly TV shows go 3 hours, I think. They did announce their next big event will be Battleground, which is taking place on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday, May 28th. Of course, way too early to figure out matches for that one. Interesting to see who'll be next for Gallus now that Joe Coffey has returned. Oh man, so good. Definitely was, like I said, great show. NXT never. I mean, sure, NXT's not what it used to be in recent years, but it's still more enjoyable than watching SmackDown or Raw. And I think NXT Stand and Deliver was very good. 2023 Stand and Deliver was very good.